Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at wcbe.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Mindy McPhan.
And this is It's Movie Time.
Yes, it is.
Now let's catch up here.
Okay.
We've got another one, another really good movie that's coming, that is here in Columbus, and it's called The Worst Person in the World.
Yes, it is.
Now, besides having the worst title of the year, it is also nominated for Best International Feature. So, Mindy, there must be something here, or we wouldn't be talking about it.
Absolutely.
Tell me, what's this thing?
I don't know. I've been a glutton. There's been so many good movies this year, in my opinion. I've just been a pig in mud. And I love this one, too.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I agree with you. The title is misleading. I spent some of the movie going, why is it called this?
Yes. At one point, a character calls himself that.
Yes, yes.
And there's a way of looking at our lead as being sometimes the worst person in the world.
Yes, in the sense that, and I say this with love in my heart, this is kind of a coming-of-age movie, and, you know, the 20s are maybe not the apex of your life.
Well, as you look at this, Mindy, you must have been something in your 20s, as you are now in your 30s. So tell me, does this resonate at all, this film?
Oh, it not only resonates with my memory, it resonates because I have children in their 20s, and I work with a lot of people in their 20s. So I watch this being played out in real time all the time. It's just, as a parent, I had no idea that terrible twos and all that thing was a cakewalk. 20s. There's the tough parenting moment, in my opinion.
All right, talk about the worst person in the world. This is Julie, who has won the Cannes Award for Best Actress.
Yes.
And played by Renate Reinsve.
Yes.
And this is Norwegian, let me say. This is back in your background way back.
Yep, yep.
What is it about her that makes her so 20-ish and makes you look at it with reverence?
Boy, it's just trying to figure out who you are. You've just gotten out of college or high school or whatever. You've gotten past your education. And the thing that I thought so clearly is I was taking my play son to go pick up his car.
Yes.
And he was feeling down on himself. And he said, he just turned 30, and he said, you know, I thought I should have it together by now. And my reaction was to burst out laughing. I laughed so hard because I go, darling, that's what I thought too. I had no idea in my 20s I was figuring out, I didn't know who I was, what I wanted to do. I mean, I went from being a security broker out of art school.
Wow.
So there you go.
But that's typical of you, though. You do really have many sides to you that are interesting and challenging. Yes.
Well, and I think that's what she was doing. She's bouncing all over the place trying to figure out who she was.
Mindy, I love it. She's the top student in her medical school. And she bails.
Yep.
Because it's too much like being an accountant.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep.
And then she goes just the opposite to be a psychologist, right?
Yes.
And then to a photographer.
Yes. Yes.
And you are so right. This is ping pong.
Yeah.
But yet, you know, if you've known any young women, and you have been one in that age, you know, and I have always recommended to young male friends not to date anyone younger than 28, any woman, because I do not believe they know until that point, when they're peering over to 30, exactly what they want.
Well, she's in a generation that's even harder, better but harder, because there's no prescribed journey. Nobody expects you to get married. Nobody expects you to have kids, except maybe your mother or grandmother.
Yes.
I mean, it's not a societal situation as it used to be. So you have more opportunities, but with that becomes, you trying to figure out who you are, in my opinion, takes a lifetime.
Yes, and one of the odd ironies of all this is that if you're as talented as Julie is, you have options.
Yes.
So that you can, as competitive as medical school is, you can dump and go to psychology just with poor mother. Did you identify with the mother
No, because I would have been more like her, and my children are more
Oh,
like
yeah,
her.
right.
My children are much more focused than I was.
But I love the mom. She's just kind of like, what? Of course, if that's what you want, honey. You know she's thinking, my God, you're leaving this great, promising profession to go somewhere else because you think you have something else that you want to do, and it's great.
Yeah.
I just loved it.
Absolutely.
Now, in these rom-coms, and this really is a rom-com. Well, I think it's more rom than com.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say?
Yes, I mean, there was a lot of moments people in the audience were laughing and I wasn't.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't think it was funny, but I thought the movie was incredibly poignant.
Me too, exactly. And I'm trying to define it as a romantic comedy, and I'm saying, well, gee, this is really very serious romantic comedy.
Yes.
Now, there's some moments like when she's flirting with her new boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
that I thought were somewhat humorous.
Yeah.
They're saying, oh, no, this is not flirting.
Yeah,
And so-
I like when you call them the new boyfriend.
Right.
Guy, she's kind of thinking about messing around behind her boyfriend's back person.
I know. And so they meet at a party. She actually crashes a party.
Yes.
I mean, if in a rom-com, very usually your relationship with another person is the defining part of the movie.
Right.
Which is, and
Yes, but I thought this was much more about her.
yes, but it helps to define where she is by seeing how she has her romantic partners.
Yeah.
Now, the more famous one of the two is one Joaquin Trier's, the director, favorites, a little bit like some of the New Wave had their favorite. Anders Danielson Lai plays Axel.
Yeah.
Who's he?
That's who she moves in with. He's 20, I think at least 20 years older than she. And they move in together.
It's
Very-
in his early 40s.
Very lightly, they move in together.
Yes.
That you can feel the lack of not being all in.
Yes, I know. That's so true. It just not fully committed to it.
No, I mean, this was not a pre-marriage move-in. You know, they're still deciding how many bookshelves that she should
I
be
know, I love
allotted.
that moment. Great.
Yeah.
But I have two
Yeah.
shelves.
Yeah.
All right. Or how many closets do you know? How many do you have?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's always best, if you're moving in all the way, you both get a new place together. Do not move in on either person.
Now, Axel is a graphic novelist.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Yeah, well, no, I think it's a comic book. I don't think it's a graphic novel. I think he has a comic book, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. And it is becoming, he's been drawing it and writing it for a long time, and it's becoming a little less socially correct.
I know.
And then he goes on that talk show.
Oh, great.
And this
Minnie,
woman
you
goes
gotta
after
love
him.
that.
Yeah,
This intellectual, this leftist intellectual,
yeah,
goes after him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And really talking about the sexism, I presume, in his comic book.
Yes.
Now, the reason I call it graphic novels is because of his rough nature.
Yes,
And the bobcat
yeah.
is a very aggressive feline,
Mm-hmm.
and has some very, very un-PC
Yeah,
moments there. It's actually quite astonishing, really. So when you get to that talk show, it's kind of like the culmination of his career,
yeah.
being challenged by women who are saying, my gosh, what is your attitude toward it?
But it was there, I thought it was interesting that I'm gonna say, he pushed back
Yes,
that there is a place for inappropriate art.
yes.
And I thought that, I liked that pushback.
Yes.
Because that is a conversation.
Yes.
At least for me as a woman, I think it's a conversation.
Oh, no, I think you've just you ratcheted it up into a talk about art, and the purpose of art, regardless of its subject matter.
Yes.
And I think he does really a good job with that.
Yes.
Now, if you listen to her side, you say, yeah, she's kind of right. This guy's
Yes.
really out there, really rough against women.
Yes.
But if you listen to him, he considers himself an artist, and what he's doing is art. Part of which I think he's saying is it makes people think, look at life differently. And so he's a kind of a cutie pie in her relationship. The other defining part of this is attitudes toward having children.
Yes.
And sense anything with Axel?
Well, he starts out by telling her when their relationship is just taking off, that they're at different stages of their life, and he thinks that's going to be a problem. So he kind of forewarns her, but she decides that she wants to go ahead with it anyways. And they go on a vacation with some married friends with children, and the children are less than fun. And then they get the parents of these children get in this huge fight, which then she sees resolved. And so she watches the whole relation. It's like a little mini relationship moment. You watch, you know, kids are cute, kids are crappy, marriage is hard, marriage is resolvable, kind of thing. And she sees the whole kind of snapshot of it. So I think she sees it, but that just makes her question more, this is what I want.
Oh, I know. It was such a setup. And it reminds me a little bit of The Lost Daughter, where our professor is watching that family. And things aren't going well with the kids. And it's a real setup for anybody in the audience who hasn't had kids. To say, yep, that's exactly why I'm not having them. And that little kid who doesn't want to go to bed in this movie.
Fun.
Oh my God. Mom has to pick her up and take her to bed.
When you can see the mother becoming escalated and losing control of the situation herself.
Yeah. But throughout, that's certainly a prominent motif in this film, is her constant thoughts about having a child or not having a child.
The thing that really pulled at my heart, if you want to say, is that what I really felt and remembered from that age is that you are trying to self-actualize and figure out who you are and what you want to do, and you're still trying to have a really good time doing it. And the specter of adulthood keeps grabbing at you.
Great, yes.
Where it's like you start to smell what's coming of adulthood, be it life and death situations, be it children, marriage, commitment, jobs, all of those things that you're trying to kind of skirt a little bit and party, but you can feel it. The momentum building, that you're crossing some threshold where those things are going to be on your lap.
Great, and having children seems to me to be the core of this anxiety about growing up. And Axel, so I thought, had a really good point about having children, is that I think, I'm distilling what he said, but I think, and check me, you're thinking too much about this. People don't prepare like this to have kids, and I think he's right. I don't think I gave it a great deal of thought. I just did it. Because, I don't know, it seemed right without having a whole bunch of justifications. But our poor, this is a part of her problem. She thinks about this stuff way too much. And
but it's a different world. It's a different
world. You're right.
I mean, I've been a very annoying environmental activist for a very long time, but I didn't, when I was going to have kids, worry about climate change. I didn't worry about the myriad of things my kids are thinking about. I just thought it was part of life.